Hello everyone, welcome to the week ahead energy reading for you, the Mind Body Soul Transformation Collective. I have just spent a bit of time sitting and meditating on the energy and got this really strong feeling of divine feminine, really like passionate, sensual, sexual energy coming through, which was really beautiful and quite interesting given the heavy energy of the full moon that's coming up, which is a full moon in Scorpio happening on Sunday, all about, death and rebirth. What are we releasing to step into something that is more true? Looking at our shadows, meeting that parts of ourselves, like really leaning into that. There'll be a lot surfacing that maybe we've been suppressing, and a lot of opportunities to sit with and feel that and move through that energy and meet those parts of ourselves with compassion and love. What are those old wounds and triggers that maybe are already starting to come up for you? I know I've been working through this big time this week already in ways I really wasn't expecting, and it's been a call to go in and look at those bits of me that I haven't really sat with or had the opportunity to face. So maybe events coming into your life to really open up those wounds and triggers and allow you to go in and clear it out is the visualization I'm getting. Like really go in and do a spring clean of all of those parts of you that you have been repressing to this point. And then lastly, being Scorpio energy, really looking at the ways in which we're handing our power over to other people, or where people are draining our energy or manipulating our energy, where there might be power imbalances within our life, with the whole purpose of this energy being to allow us to reclaim our sovereignty and take back our power to speak our truth. Big energy. There's lots everywhere on this full moon in particular. I found that feminine energy that came through in my little meditation before I jump on to record these quite interesting. And it's almost feeling as if and I mentioned in last week's reading, I believe this, I've got this feeling of we're stepping into an awakening, and there's something that's coming through today that feels like this is like awakening of those deep parts of our repressed and suppressed feminine that are coming back online. Kundalini kind of energy as well. Very interesting. Anyway, I'm going to pull a card or two or three, whatever wants to come out from my Divine Feminine deck, because that's the one that had to come out when I first split the deck. I saw Kali, which is bang on for this Scorpio full moon. Definitely some dark goddess energy here with this full moon, but let's see what wants to come through. Thank you, Spirit. Messages that are of the light and for the best and highest good of all. Messages for the Mind Body Soul Transformation Collective for the week ahead. Is there anything else? 3 more shuffles. 1, 2. We've got Joan of Arc and Kuan Yin so far. 3. I think there's a card sitting under Kuan Yin as well. And Shekinah, the presence of the divine feminine. All right, Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. I have steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. And that's warrior of light. Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion. I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. To me, that's that shadow work energy I was just speaking about. How can we start looking at the shadow aspects of ourselves and of humanity, meeting those parts of us with compassion, because that's actually how we transmute and alchemize this energy, which is what that Scorpio energy is all about. It's alchemization. It's phoenix energy, burning things down to bring in something beautiful and new. And actually that even reminds me of the image on this next card. How was that for phoenix energy? Shekinah, the presence of the divine feminine. At the center of everything there is light, and I am that light. So I think I'm going to read Joan of Arc, The other two, to me, are speaking to exactly what we're just talking about, that alchemizing and bringing light to the dark aspects of ourselves, allowing everything to burn away with this full moon in Scorpio energy that's happening on Sunday. And Joan of Arc's probably reclaiming our power. They're probably all aspects of this full moon energy that's obviously going to carry us through the week ahead. But I still feel like Joan of Arc's the card that I need to read. Joan of Arc, warrior of light. I have steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. Joan of Arc represents the power that we all possess when we're aligned with our calling. She's a legendary heroine in France for her role in the 100 Years' War. At the age of 13, she had a vision that would change the course of her life. She relates years later in transcripts from her trial after being captured by the English that she would have preferred to stay in her hometown spinning wool. But the power of her vision and her belief in the truth of it compelled her to follow the voice she heard within her. The vision of Archangel Michael, accompanied by many angels. She said, I saw them with my bodily eyes, as well as I am seeing you. And when they left, I wept. The Archangel Michael told her that she was meant to drive out the English from France. Dressed in men's armor, Joan of Arc led several campaigns against the English and became a symbol of hope. The power of her conviction that she was acting on God's behalf shifted the tenor of the war in France's favor. She was captured in May of 1430. She was condemned and sentenced to death in May of 1431. When your soul selects her card, during Joan of Arc's trial, her interrogators asked her if she was in a state of grace. She answered, if I am not, may God put me there, and if I am, may God keep me. Her unfaltering faith in the truth of her own visions made the impossible possible. As a teenager, she led an army that changed the course of history for France. Act and God will act, she said. The faith she had in her vision allowed her to take on a task that had never been done before by a young woman. Her every action chanted, I am not afraid, I was born to do this. She is associated with the flower of light. It represents the Trinity, the profound truth that the Trinity would not exist without Mary and her brave response to the angel Gabriel's call. Joan, like Mary, knows that she's directly connected to the divine from within her, and she allows that connection to guide her. Joan of Arc's life is a testament to what is possible for us when we believe steadfastly in our own vision. She just asks for us to move beyond our fear, act on truth, and to do this with the confidence of knowing that our every step is flanked with angels. That's really interesting. So when I first sat down to record this message, I got the very strong feeling that I needed to do a channeled message. So I pressed record. I pulled a card from my Divine Masters deck and connected with Thoth through that channeling. And basically, and I do need to go back and watch it back, but basically what the message that Thoth brought through was that we now are able to connect with the realms in which the information about our soul purpose here in this lifetime is available to us. All of us can connect with that information now, and we just have to do that intentionally. That can either be in meditation, in journaling, in dream state, however you might do it, just asking for that guidance to land within you so that you can remember why you are here at this time. What is the path that you are meant to be walking at this time with conviction? And then it was basically exactly that once you have that information, you step onto that path and nothing is going to, wow, this is so amazing. Nothing is going to budge you off that path. It's like, it doesn't matter what corruption or chaos happens around us. You will be so committed to your path because of the way in which it has been received and remembered within your soul that there will be nothing to be able to push you off that path. And it was a reminder that we're all here serving a purpose at this time, and it is our responsibility now to step into that path and to move forward with conviction of what we came here to do. And with the feminine energy coming through as well. And actually, I shared a post on Instagram this morning from someone else that I'm just going to open up and read some text from because it seems really relevant. It's as if this is the feminine energy, be it within all of us possibly is the part of us that is remembering right now, that is going to allow us to step into these paths and lead from love. It's like this love for one another, love for ourselves will be the conviction that keeps us on our path. All right, let me have a look at this post. So it was from Self-Healing Mama, and it started with, there is a cultural shift on the horizon, and it won't come from institutions, politicians, or polished campaigns. It will be pioneered by mothers. Mothers who dared to question, mothers who pulled their children from the fire and then turned around to warn others, mothers who reclaimed their sacred role not as passive participants in a broken system, but as fierce guardians of a new way forward. This shift will not be subtle. It will dismantle and rebuild. It will shake the foundations of a culture that normalized sickness, outsourced intuition, and called it progress. In its place, a new paradigm will rise, one that honors nourishment over convenience, wisdom over credentials, connection over control, healing over managing, truth over silence. These mothers will bring back the ancient ways and blend them with modern insight. They will grow food, make medicine, educate their children with reverence instead of conventional conditioning. They will trade labels for listening, protocols for presence, and fear for fierce, unwavering love. What they're building isn't a trend, it is a culture of care, a way of living that no longer tolerates the commodification of childhood, the hijacking of health, or the silencing of the maternal instinct. And when their voices rise in unison, no one will be able to look away, because this isn't just a cultural shift, it is a resurrection, a remembering, a movement led by mothers who finally remembered who they are and who they were always meant to be. That feels like this energy, and not just within this context. It's like the different feminine aspects of us, even to the point of just connecting with our intuition, is coming online and being remembered, and we're stepping into our paths with conviction. And that reminds me of a message a few weeks ago where I spoke about there was the guides and the teachers and the healers and the whatever. It feels like a similar thing, like the feminine aspects of our souls are awakening, and we're remembering the beauty within them, but not just the beauty, the power within them. And we're taking back that power that has been suppressed for generations, for lifetimes, for many of us. We're taking back that power and we're stepping into that path, and we are healing the world in that process. Oh, wow. What a beautiful message. I say like I guess my phone. I feel like I say that often, but really is. I was going to go to the tarot, but my Priestess of the Light deck is calling to me, so I'm just going to see if there is a message from that deck as well. You probably all know this deck by now, but it's this one, Priestess of the Light. Wowee. All right, any message? Yep. Setting boundaries, threshold, protection, honor. Anything else, Spirit? I gotta know. So, encourage, strength, fierceness, family. I'll show you the card that came out though, and we'll read that one. To me, this is speaking to, as we step into these paths, we're setting the boundaries of what we won't tolerate anymore, and that's what's going to break down the things that are out of alignment with where we're going, the world we are building. The priestess of the threshold holds up her hands with palms outwards, projecting a field of protective light before her. The strong and stately snow leopard, who lives a solitary life in the highest reaches of the mountains, looks over her shoulder, standing guard. This card brings you a message of both caution and encouragement. It is time to take an honest look at your boundaries you set. How do you view your importance in your own life? Are you sacrificing your priorities and self-care to prioritize the needs and wishes of others? Are you putting up with demands, dismissal, marginalization, or even disrespect from the people in your life? If so, it's time to put up your hands and say enough. You may have been allowing others to cross your personal threshold and invade your time, energy, or space, but this card is telling you that you now have the power to shift that pattern. Start to set clear limits today. Make yourself a priority in your own life. Your soul deserves to be honored, and you must be the first person to make that choice. When you do, you will finally receive the respect and prioritization that you've been longing for all along. Which again is that last part of that full moon in Scorpio energy of reclaiming our power and looking at where we are giving our power away to fear, people pleasing, or control, and where are others manipulating or draining our energy. All right, let's move on to the tarot. I'll use my new one. And then I'll clarify with the lights here. So I've got my Dreams of Gaia tarot, which I know I've used for a personal reading or two, but I don't know if I've used this on these yet. Anyway, I'll show you the... Just move the oracle cards to the side, which I don't often do. Always interests me what I do in these readings and then how the cards come out relative to the oracle cards, and you know, all of this is for a reason. I've been cold all day. Start doing some energy work and it's warming up in here, that's for sure. The one thing that just came to me as I was... What card have I got on the bottom of the deck? Sorry. And then desire. Wow. Let me go back to what I was saying and then I'll have a close look at that card. The one thing I was drawn to while I was shuffling those cards was this card, and the saying on there, at the center of everything is light. And what was coming through to me there, and I think it was partly because I was using the Gaia deck, was something... It's something about the center of the earth and the center of ourselves. That immediately took me back to the part last week's reading about needing to be the light ourselves and embody the light that we want to see in the world. And that includes doing the shadow work. Actually, there's a lot about last week's reading that really links in with this energy. Center of everything there is light, and I am that light. I just keep getting this really strong feeling about, and chills as I'm saying there's something about the center of the earth. Center of the earth, there is light. Ooh, what is it? There's something there that wants to come through. Center of the earth, there is light. I'm actually just going to look that up and see if it is a song or anything. It doesn't look like a song. There's lots on Google about whether there is light or not at the center of the earth. And I'm just on some physics website. So I'm just going to read this. And then I'm just going to share what's coming through. This is very interesting. We've ended up on this tangent, but I'm sure it will feed into whatever is at play here. All of the electromagnetic energy emitted by the core, including light waves, is repeatedly absorbed and re-emitted at longer and longer wavelengths by the thousands of miles of rock between the core and the surface. We cannot see the core for the same reason that we cannot see the sun shining up through the earth at night. There is too much rock in the way. Eventually, the energy is escaping to space via the Earth's atmosphere, but by the time it reaches the surface in the form of long wavelength infrared radiation, it is not visible light. And as I was reading that first part around thousands of miles of rock, I immediately got there's something about that energy. There's a few things coming through. There's something about the energy that is being emitted by the core of the earth that is going into the crystal grids of the earth. There's also something about the sun and that core of the earth and their exchange of energy, which again is also the same as our exchange of energy with the sun, but also with the core of the earth. Why is this coming up, Spirit? I was not expecting the Queen. Look at the card that's at the bottom of the Pocket Archetypes deck that I just pulled out. Let me get back to the right window, otherwise it's going to be the Queen. I'm going to leave that out. Can you just, thank you, Spirit. I just need to explain this about the mask. Anything else that can help me understand what's coming through here, Spirit? The riddle, the box, and the mystic. Empty room still on the bottom of the deck, and the creator. Doesn't that look like the top of a pyramid? At first I was like, it's light trapped in a box. And then we've got the riddle, like I said. I don't know if I showed you the mask. The first thing I thought about here was that part of what I just read about how the light can't transmit through the earth to the other side of, like, the light of the sun, but even the light of the core. Like it's hidden from us, but it's there. The riddle. The mystic. And then we've got the mystic and the phrasing, the moth to the flame is coming through. I feel like there's something, and I'm getting chills as I think and say this, so I take that as I'm on the right path. There's something about our connection with light, and all energy is light. Everything is light. At the center of everything there is light. We've got shadow work. Okay, there's lots here. On the individual level, I think this is speaking to us bringing a light to those parts of ourselves that have been suppressed, and that both is our shadows, that is also our remembering of our path, our awakening of this feminine energy, our awakening of our connection to the divine, our awakening of our intuition and other gifts that have always been there, but it's like someone's turning the light switch on and we're able to connect with that energy, that light now within ourselves. So that's the individual level of this. There is something about shifts in the light of the sun within ourselves and the earth herself that is supporting this energy. And it's almost like a self-perpetuating kind of cycle thing. That's kind of the wrong words, but I'm almost like, as we connect more with our light, there's something that feeds back into this exchange of light between the earth and the sun. The thing that immediately came through me just then is like, we're able to channel the sun, we're able to channel the light both directions. And there's something about that bridge, us being the bridge and being open to being the bridge, that's really allowing the energetic shift that is taking place right now to happen. I really wasn't expecting to go here. I'm just going to read the Queen card to you. Queen, the Empress, the Mother, Queen, the Sovereign. So again, we've got divine feminine energy here. If it's the Empress card. Like her counterpart, the King, the Queen has a dualistic nature. Either she presides over the realm with grace and eloquence that comes from the heavens to uplift the spirit of others, or she falls into petty contemptuous moods, casting a shadow across the land. If the king is the ego, the queen is the expression of that ego in the world. She is the lotus bloom, the dancer's bow, the moon's radiant reflection. When the queen is seated in her rightful and righteous place, she is patient and forgiving. She waits for the grace of God and Goddess to move through her, striving and grasping for nothing. To be the benevolent leader, to embody the queen, is to settle into deep trust, resolve, and power. The royal queen fears nothing, for divinity itself cradles her heart. That's that Joan of Arc energy again, isn't it? It says here, I'm gonna look this up. It says, read Cleopatra's monologue in Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, Act 5, Scene 2. And then read about Inanna, Tara, and Hera. They didn't come out in the Divine Feminine deck, so I'm not going to read about those, but I am going to look up this. So if, like me, you haven't connected with this literature previously, it says Cleopatra's final monologue in Act 5, Scene 2 of William Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra is one of her most powerful and iconic speeches, spoken before she takes her own life to avoid being paraded as a trophy in Rome. So I'm going to read it to you because I think there's a message in here for us. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me, now no more. The juice of Egypt's grape shall moist this lip. Yeah, good Iris, quick. Methinks I hear Antony call. I see him rouse himself. To praise my noble act, I hear him mock. The luck of Caesar, which gods give men. To excuse their after wrath, husband I come. Now to the name my courage, prove my title. I am fire and air, my other elements. I give to baser life, so have you done. Come then and take the last warmth of my lips. Farewell, kind chairman, Iris, long farewell. I have applied the aspic in my lips. Dost fall. If thou nature can so gently part the stroke of death as lovers pinch, which hurts and is desired, dost thou lie still. If thus thou vanished, thou tellest the world it is not worth leave taking. ChatGPT has just provided me a summary interpretation. It says, this speech is Cleopatra's final act of power, reclaiming her narrative. Instead of becoming a captive in Caesar's Roman parade, she chooses her own ending. It is not just death, it is initiation, alchemy, and divine reunion with her beloved Antony. Her language is sensual, mystical, and queenly. She dies as she lived, with dignity, depth, and a touch of drama. And I think it's just that first part that's speaking to this energy that is here with the full moon for us this week, and this reawakening and remembering of the divine feminine aspects of ourselves. It's reclaiming those parts of ourselves and no longer being willing to live. And I'm not saying that the other choices that we all die. It's like we're no longer going to live in this paradigm that we've existed in. We are going to lean into this energy of the Scorpio full moon of death and rebirth and transform not only our lives but the world in the process. We're going to really lean into that initiation that we're walking into through this full moon and alchemize all that has kept us stuck, alchemize all that is hidden and suppressed and repressed within us, and turn that into our light and step into that balance of that masculine and feminine energy, that Kundalini awakening, and reclaim what is rightfully ours, including our divinity and our love for everyone, and a remembering that we are all one. Wow. So let's see what wants to come through from the tarot. As I said, we've got death. I forgot death and rebirth at the bottom of the deck. that baby and the eggs really drawing my attention, which I guess is rebirth, isn't it? But then desire, which is underneath that, which really feels like that feminine energy that I was feeling at the start. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for, oh, there we go. We've got the Emperor, the Queen and the Emperor. So it's that balance of masculine and feminine energy. Messages for the Mind Body Soul Transformation Collective, messages that are of the light and for the best and highest good. Speaking to the energy of the week ahead. Union. Wow. Whew. This is it's been a little while since we've had one of these kind of readings, hasn't it? And then we've got the Six of Pentacles, Six of Earth energy. Interesting imagery though. I'm going to have to read some of these. What's drawing my attention on this card, one is he's chained to this weight on his shoulders, but he's got the key to the lock, like he can free himself from the situation. It's almost giving me devil energy kind of vibes, which is unusual for the Six of Pentacles, which is about balance, giving and receiving. Okay, I feel like there's not, but anything else, Spirit? One more. No. Okay, what have we got at the bottom of the deck? Two of Wands, Two of Fire. Again, just more of that real Phoenix, passionate. Let's choose a new path, choose a new energy kind of feeling to it. That's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, let's start. Actually, I'm going to start with the Union card. The Union card symbolizes unity and wholeness. It represents our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with the world around us. It represents the harmony that arises when we are in alignment within and with both the seen and the unseen worlds around us. Again, I'm just getting that image of the sun and the earth's core, and the balance between those and the channeling of the bidirectional energy. To achieve this centered state is our fifth reason for being. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Self-inquiry puts our feet upon the path to wholeness. Please go watch the channel message. I will put it up because it is all linked. It is part of our life quest, and only in asking questions and seeking answers do we become whole. It is a journey that manifests in self-discovery. We come into the world innocent and pure. While in the womb, our soul is still one with the source of all, the void, the cosmic womb, from which all came to be and all will return. There's also something on Instagram today that I haven't gone back and watched around us realizing there's something about death. I mean, this fits with the spiritual principle, but I haven't listened to it. There's something about a quantum discovery that relates to death and how it changes our perception on what death actually is. What made me think of that right then is from which all came to be and all will return. Our soul remembers that connection. The soul remembers its unlimited potential. It remembers that it is whole and divine. This knowledge and all that we experienced before taking our first breath in this life resides within our unconscious mind, where it could motivate and guide us. If it were not for the fact that from birth we experience a life that is conflicting in every way. As we grow into adulthood, we are taught to define, limit, repress, and suppress and deny. While we can be surrounded by people who support us and tell us that we are capable of anything we set our minds to achieving, we may still limit and restrict our potential by embracing labels and definitions. Furthermore, we are born into a race that divides and separates into tribes. The tribes maintain that they want peace, but thrive and profit more from conflict and war. Two of the largest tribes are science and religion. Many of the people of each tribe hold those of the other in contempt. You've heard the arguments. Science is founded in fact and reality. Religion and its more open and expansive form, spirituality, are founded in myth and make-believe. One is based on logic, analysis, and reason. The other is based on faith, emotion, and imagination. However, if you scratch the surface and look a little closer, both are founded in theory. Both require trust and conviction. Both are loved and defended with the same level of conviction. Both could coexist in harmony. Only embracing both science and spirituality do we find answers to the larger questions. Spirituality and science are not mutually exclusive. Spirituality founded in science and science that embraces spirituality and the divine offer far greater opportunities to explore and understand the universe and all that dwells within than either standing on its own. Each can and does enhance and expand our perception of the other. The union card represents the bringing together of many aspects of our world that we have been taught to separate from the whole. All is connected, as above, so below. The universe in which we dwell is multifaceted and whole. The earth upon which we dwell is multifaceted and whole. And all that dwell beside us upon this blue-green earth is multifaceted and whole. We, humanity, are multifaceted and whole, and we have a symbiotic relationship with that whole. As the dominant species on the planet, the very health of the whole planet is dependent on our own health and unity as a species, and so we must reconnect and integrate and become one with all once more. The union card symbolizes the marriage of the body, mind, and soul, and the recognition and acceptance of our own divinity and connection. We are physical beings who are meant to live a life that includes and embraces both the physical and the spiritual. We are unique and individual beings, but also part of a greater whole. We are told that love is all, and that at the center, when all is in harmony and alignment, there is only love. But while love is important, at the center there is only peace and stillness of the void. It is in unifying all and experiencing the peace that is born in that moment that we remember what it was first like to dwell in the void, dwell in the womb. In that place of pure stillness and silence, all is created. The union card in the present represents divine union, the marriage of the male and female aspects within the self. Both the masculine and feminine principles reside within all that is and all that will be. They are aspects of the whole, equal in purpose and function. You yourself are both masculine and feminine, regardless of physical gender or sexual preference. And for unification and creation to be achieved, each must be present and honored equally. It's now time to open and embrace the feminine within you without fear, to receive and accept the true, beautiful nature of your physical self, and to allow it to be without shame, judgment, or condemnation. It is time for complete self-acceptance of how you think, feel, believe, perceive, and appear. Now it is time to open and embrace the masculine within you without fear, to be strong and powerful without desire to compete, control, or dominate. Remember, however, that while the divine masculine may not seek to dominate, it is not submissive. Use logic and reason, but not to the exclusion of emotions and intuition. Embrace the divine feminine by honoring your emotions and allowing them to flow without repression or denial. Accept your thoughts and beliefs as being a reflection of your truth and reality. Love your physical form without condition. Treat it as a temple and worship within. Step into the flow and use your intuition with trust and confidence, and marry it with logic and reason. Be sensitive, be vulnerable, be strong, be compassionate, be kind, be active, be creative, be all, be whole. That message is so big, so powerful. I feel like just listening to this message is going to help some of this land, some of this remembrance come into place. It will take time to integrate. It feels very big. As I said, please go listen to the channeled message as well, because I think that is these are linked, and there is an invitation there to connect with what your path and purpose is. I don't really explain this imagery other than just to speak to the meaning of the card around responsibility and duty, leading by example, which again fits with the message. But to me, I'm much more getting from the imagery of this card that message around we can free ourselves from the shackles that are currently keeping us off our path, keeping us trapped in the suppression of the parts of ourselves that need to come into our reality right now. Those real, especially the divine feminine aspects of ourselves that we have suppressed or repressed. And there's a big part of that that's anchored in awakening our gifts, awakening to things outside of our belief structures, be that science or spirituality, and recognizing that both exist here on the world, and we've the truth, the light has been partially hidden from us. We need to bring the light into balance. I feel like there's something about the pyramids here too with this box. I'm not sure if there's going to be more pyramid discoveries this week that are kind of part of this awakening of a remembering within us, but also a questioning of what is reality. Anyway, that is already nearly close to an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna stop that one there. Wow, I'm struggling with words. That was pretty powerful. Wishing you all an incredible week ahead. Remembering to just spend some time connecting with guidance, connecting with the feminine aspects of yourself, having a look at those shadow aspects of yourself, surrendering to what needs to be removed out of your life to allow something more true to come in. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.